Hey there, good morning. Welcome to this week midweek market analysis. So as usual, let's start off with the dollar index over here. Now what we've seen on the dollar index is for the at least for the start of this week, we did have a little bit of a corrective pullback. So this little pullback is not very strong. So as of now, we're anticipating that this may still be a wave 4 correction. And if that's the case, then we'll expect to see some form of a resistance between 102.5 to 102.90. And if we can get indeed a rejection back down, we can expect a little bit more downside for the dollar to complete the 5 wave structure over here. So if you look at euro dollar, kind of inverse to that as well. So after an impulsive move last week, we start off this week with a corrective pullback. So same thing here, if we can get a decent bounce and support around like 1.09 to 1.0850, then we can expect a little bit more upside to complete the 5 wave structure. And of course, some of the key levels over here is that if we can get a break above 1.0950, okay, then that would give us a little bit more confirmation that price is indeed ready to make the 5th wave up, right? So we are primarily focusing on upside for euro dollar for now. To trade the 5th wave up. And then we have the pound, right? So pound this week is definitely the focus on it because we have the CPI coming in, and of course the Bank of England rate decisions, right? So right now the structure seems to be suggesting quite similar to euro. So we have 1, 2, 3. Wave 4 seems to be developing, testing around 1.2730 to 1.2660. Okay, so same thing here. If you can kind of see support, that may be wave 4, and then we expect a little bit more upside. Okay, do take note of the potential volatility, of course, okay, because we don't really expect some kind of a surprise from BOE, but it's really hard to say because the Fed has started to pause rate. Perhaps there might be a surprise where Bank of England may pause it as well, and still maintain a hawkish tone, but they may pause it this time and then say that, oh, we'll see how it goes and then hike it maybe in the future. So just take note of that, okay, of that possibility. So that's on the pound side of things. We're bullish as of now, okay, but this little push here, I think if you're a little bit more conservative, just wait for a while and see if you can get a more obvious correction first, okay. Now in terms of Aussie dollar, long term we are slightly bullish, short term we are bearish. Okay, so the idea is after this little strong push, we expect at least some kind of a decent pullback. Okay, we did have that first drop yesterday, coming from the risk of sentiment, right? If you look at like China shares, Hong Kong shares, the market is down and therefore it's dragging the Aussie down as well. So going forward here in the short run, if you can see a kind of decent corrective pullback, okay, towards this area, then we'll look for sell opportunity. And of course, the target will be here, and then we'll expect perhaps from there a bigger move back up, right? So short term, look for sell, and then longer term, we'll then be interested in the buy side. So this one here, potentially the setup may come to us maybe like tomorrow or Friday. Then in terms of dollar Canadian, we have updated the buys a little bit. Right now, we're expecting a little bit more downside in the short run simply because of this little structure. Initially, we were expecting that this is the bottom and we'll see a decent bounce back, a retracement up, but we did not get it, right? Instead, we kind of see the structure develop very, very correctively. So right now, we're expecting a little bit more downside, maybe an internal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before that push, okay? And of course, don't put too much emphasis in all this label here as of now because, again, depending on how price is going to develop in the future, we may need to update it accordingly because this can be 5 here, this can be 3, this can be 4, or even 3 can be here, right? 3 can still be here. This is a running flat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete the 5th wave structure in an upside, right? So don't put too much emphasis on the white label for now, but we focus a little bit more in terms of like what is the current structure development, what directional bias is telling us as of now in the short run. Okay, so right now it's suggesting a little bit more downside on dollar CAD. Personally, I wouldn't suggest you to look for sell because I think we've extended quite a bit, so selling at the bottom may not be a good idea. And then we have the dollar yen. Dollar yen here potentially may have completed 5th wave. We did see a little bit of reaction yesterday, but I think it's still a little bit too early to commit to say that okay, we're gonna see the down move. So we're still neutral on this, but we're definitely more into looking for sell opportunity, because if we can get kind of like a slow move here, not breaking that previous top, then obviously it's a very clear sign to sell it. However, understand that this can still go back up, develop into maybe a bigger structure before the down move. So overall, I think just give it maybe another 1 or 2 days to wait for that kind of confirmation that we may need for a sell setup. Gold side of things, XAU. Right now I'm seeing potentially this may be the bottom with this little structure over here. But I'm still overall neutral because this move down yesterday was pretty sharp, but it hasn't really break this yet. So the idea is, of course, if we see a bounce from here, ideally above that trend line, a pullback, that would definitely be a buy, right? So this one here will be a buy setup. Other than that, if you're aggressive, of course, you can start looking for buy around this area, but understand this can still drop, right? So overall neutral, but same as dollar yen, will be inclined for a particular direction, simply because this has dropped quite a bit. Selling here again may not be a good idea for now, unless we get a decent pullback for a sell again. Right, so that's on the gold side. Crude oil, quite simple. I think crude oil structure is very clear. We're expecting a little bit more upside. As long as price stays above 66.8, right, any pullback will be seen as a buy opportunity. S&P overall neutral for now. I think we're kind of expecting a bit more of a bigger corrective pattern to complete wave 4 before the push up. We're bullish on that, just basically waiting for a decent corrective structure before we commit to the buy again. BTC did a very nice little break yesterday, okay, breaking above that trend line, which is very significant. And not only that trend line, I think it's able to clear off this little high here as well. So definitely a bullish bias, no doubt about it. So just look for any pullback. Is basically a buy opportunity for you. Okay. So I mean, if Bitcoin is likely gonna go up, then generally most crypto coins would be bullish as well. So that's a quick update for the midweek. So as usual, manage your risk. All the best to your trading, and I'll see you guys in the next one.